not even need Bowers game for me.
Yeah, you too.
We are back again today for another game review, another special tag team review. Today I'm here with my 7-year-old son, Sean.
Hi.
And we're going to be checking out Don't Let It Die. This is for Thunk Games. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 12 plus. It'll take about 45 to 90 minutes to play. And in Don't Let It Die, you are Neanderthals, or the dummies who are just, hitting stuff with rocks, and all of a sudden, lightning strikes, and there is fire. So what you have to do is, over the course of 14 days, you have to try and discover all the mysteries of fire before a giant flood comes and kills you all. But this is a completely cooperative game in which, in kind of a pandemic-y style, there are numerous different ways to lose, but only one way to win. There's lots of asymmetrical characters. We'll start talking about it. If you want to see exactly how the game plays, be sure to check out up in the cards. We have a Bauer Family Learns if you want to know exactly how the game plays. We even play with the micro expansion, which we'll be talking about right now. But this is the review, so let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. And first, we're going to start with the cons, okay, buddy? So was there anything that you did not like about this game? I know I wanted a little bit more variety in the tools. I felt like the tools were a little bit lacking because they were all very simplistic. It was mostly like you get an extra berry, or you get an extra rock, or you get an extra wood.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is okay, and I like having that stuff in game. It makes it's nice and simple. But I wanted more. I wanted like some crazy special abilities, because one thing we're going to tell you in the pros is that each of the characters feels really cool and really different and really unique. And why can't we have tools that feel that way as well? Same thing with the fire knowledge tree. I like the simplicity of the fire knowledge tree, but I really wish they would have thrown in some more bells, some more whistles, maybe some more interesting choices along the way. And I understand it takes a lot of play testing to do stuff like that, but I feel like it would have just given it an extra little bit of pizzazz. Because right now, most of the time when you upgrade, it's kind of an essential upgrade. It's like, we really need to do this. Most of the time, it's not like you're just joyriding, like, oh, I want to pick this because it sounds like it'll be cool. And I wish there were some things like that, Like fishing, for instance, which is in the micro expansion. What if that was on that track so you could learn how to fish one day? I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, so that's one of my complaints. Do you have any complaints personally, Sean?
Not really.
I know some people are not going to like how difficult this game can be, and it is the kind of game where if you have unfortunate draws because you're going to be drawing cards at the wrong time, you can really get in trouble. I know when we played this on game night, I had an instance where I dealt 5 damage to myself in 1 turn, just because I was drawing the cards that I should have been drawing. Now, that being said, it was somewhat of a gamble because I was going out and I was harvesting, which I know has an inherent danger, but that is something that you need to know, that there is a good deal of luck still in this game. And some people might not like how unforgiving the game can feel if you are drawing poor cards. One other thing that I want to mention here is that this is a game that I think is primarily going to go over best if you are newer into the hobby, or if you're looking at this as a family game. Because one thing that I will say is I would put this not as a gateway game, but I put it as that next step up. So not your ticket to ride, but then once you get to Small World, and it's still a relatively simple game, but you're adding in some new concepts and new different things, I would put that at about this sort of level. And your game night. Is your game night at that level, or is your game night over here, where this is probably going to be one that you might want to take a pass on? But as a family game, as Sean's going to tell you, because do you have any cons, Sean?
No.
Sean is really stinking enjoyed this. I think he's been chomping the bits to talk about it. So let's just move on to the pros. And Sean, did you like this game?
Yes.
So what were some things that you liked about this game?
I liked the different danger cards.
The different danger cards, yeah. So I thought that was a really cool aspect as well. And one thing that we can look at and say, hey, I also think that's one of the cons, is that there's some really cool things. There's a woolly mammoth, and there's saber-tooths, and there's beast.
A bear.
Yeah, and these things are going to attack you as you go out, which makes sense. It works thematically, which I am really going to beat the drum on this game about, because I love the theme of this game. But I wish there would have been more of those hazard cards. It just mixed it up. Why do there have to be a whole bunch of saber-tooths? Why couldn't one be a saber-tooth, one be a chimpanzee? Why couldn't one be, a volcano eruption? Like, why couldn't... Well, I guess you can't fight a volcano eruption. But I just would have liked a little bit more variety. Maybe maybe some of them have a lingering effect, like you're poisoned and you have to make sure you...
Like if there's like a snake, you could get like poisoned or something.
Yeah. Now, they do provide that variety in the night event cards. I will say, that's one of the things that I really like about this, and I'm sure you probably were going to talk about it, is the night event cards are really cool. You never know if it's going to be good, if it's going to be bad, if it's going to really hurt you or really help you. And I thought that was cool. And we also are going to talk about the micro expansion as well. And I like the day event cards as well. But back to what you were saying, I agree, the danger cards are really cool because it creates this sense of theme. And as you go further away, when you do the harvesting and when you do the gathering, you tend to run into the bigger stuff as well.
Like, if you go down to the hunting, you might find a bear.
Yeah. But, I don't remember the bear, but what else did you like about the game?
I like what the night events really did, like that your fire could almost go out.
So you like the night... I think what you're trying to say here is you liked the story that is being told with the events. And I agree completely. Let's just get down into this. The theme of this game gets a 10 out of 10, I would say. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is a 10 out of 10 game. I think it has the potential to be an absolutely Bowers Bastille amazing game with an expansion in the future because the theme comes across. The groundwork is here. You create your own little story. Those night events add to the story. The day events, and I highly recommend playing with that expansion because how the day events works is really quite simple, is sometimes when you go hunting or gathering or foraging or whatever, you don't find stuff, right? I mean, that just happens in real life. And so instead of just having nothing happen, you actually have a day event. And who knows? There's a whole bunch of different day events. And yeah, let me grab that card for you real quick, Sean.
Yeah.
There's a lot of text on these day event cards. I love this aspect of the game. I think it's great. I love the different characters. The characters. You want to talk a little bit about the characters?
Yeah. Well, there's some characters that we don't even know about.
Well, to clarify, Sean has played this once, and I've played this 4 times now. And
this is one of the people I had on my first time playing.
They can't see any of the text, buddy. His name's Gronk. But each one has their own special abilities. They start with their own health. They start with their own stamina. And they have not 1, not 2, but 3 special unique attributes about them. And that's why I'm saying I can't wait, and hopefully they do this in the future, if you could start having unique weapons. Maybe particular characters might have their own unique weapon that only they can craft. And that would just be a little mini expansion pack. What would be like 12, 15, 20 cards, however many characters there are, because there's actually quite a few different characters.
Sig could make a fishing pole or something.
And then boom, what if they make their own tools as well? And you're really just making each character feel different and unique to the point, like in Pandemic, where it's like, I like this character. This is the character that I really like to go to. I see this as a game that has limitless potential because the core groundwork of the game is so solid. It's easy to learn, it's easy to teach, it's easy to understand because the theme comes across so well. I like the artwork, and the more I talk about this game, the more I really think this is a great family game. I think this is a no-brainer recommendation if you have kids aged 7 to 15. I'm going to start off and say I think that I absolutely recommend this as a family game. Game night game, I'm going to go if you have a lighter game night crowd. If not, then this is one I'm probably going to pass on because it's going to be, while it is still a very difficult game, which I do like, and that's another thing. There's, 4 difficulties in here, buddy? Mm-hmm. And then there's like 9 extra challenges. They're like, all right, if you thought this was too easy, you could ramp up the difficulty. But I still don't know if that's going to work so well with a lot of game nights because there's still so much luck that can come into play with the events that you get and when you happen to get different things. And I think that might turn off some people. But hey, that's a your mileage may vary kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But in the end, is there anything else you want to say about the game, Sean? Anything else you really liked about the game? The tech tree, the fire knowledge?
I liked what the expansion added.
You like the expansion stuff with the fishing?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying right here. There is unlimited potential for expansion, and the expansions would be easy to integrate into the game system. I mean, they would need a lot of play testing, but I'm looking at it from your perspective, like you as a viewer, like thinking about getting this game. Like, it would just be like, here's some extra characters. Just throw them in. Here's an extra special 2 cards. One's a tool. One is a weapon that only specific characters can do. They clearly have their name on there, and boom. That's easy to implement into the game. Here's these day event phase. Here's more day events that do all sorts of different stuff. Here's day events that start to have lingering effects, a la Robinson Crusoe or Friday, if you want to go that route, which are both great games. We'll have to play eventually. Oh my gosh, Robinson Crusoe. Oh, it's so good.
Well,
Ignacy. What? Sorry?
Where there's only like 2 people I know that actually start out with something. There's Fung, who starts out a sharp stick, and Kron, who starts out with 5 armor.
Yes, and 2 of them get to start off with that, which makes them invaluable resources because there's certain things that you can unlock as you go. But imagine if you had an expansion. What if there was another board like this, which had whole new areas that you could go to, but you could only send your scout there. So you'd have a specific character that had the scout ability or something, like all sorts of different stuff that you could mix into this game. You could make it a legacy game. In the end, don't let it die. I hope the creators of this game don't let it die, because I think we're both big fans of this one, right, buddy?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. As a family game, no brainer. Check this one out.
Oh yeah, and there's this thing.
And if you're looking for a game, oddly enough, this is a very specific recommendation, but if you have kids that are interested in playing solo games, and I'd say they're out ages 9, 10, 11, 12 plus, I think this is an absolutely spectacular one to consider, because I think if I taught Sean maybe 3 or 4 more times, you could probably play this as a solo game, you think?
Yeah.
Because it is, at its core, relatively simple.
And there's also this thing, which you can trade stuff with. It's another tribal village.
Yeah, and that's just another thing that I like about this game, the tribal village aspect. There's because the tribal village is there always to trade, but you also can then have the tribal village. They might steal your wood or steal your meat or do different things, so they come across as well in that aspect. But
in the night events,
So Let It Die from Funk Games. Looks like my cup of tea. Be sure to check that one out. If you're enjoying what we're doing, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. Also, consider supporting the Patreon down below and in the comments below. Let me know. Do you have a question for the people, my good son?
If you could be in one place, where would it be out of these 4 places? A watering hole, a jungle, a beach, or a swamp.
I'm going beach. Just seems a lot safer. Swamps gross me out.
Actually, a beach with crabs that are very, very threatened crabs, and sharks in the water.
I'm not so concerned about the sharks as long as I don't go too deep. I'm not so concerned about the crabs. I can outrun crabs, right? Pretty sure humans can outrun crabs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll punch a crab. I will punch a crab in his crab face.
Well, the crab could just be...
Yeah?
Well, the crab would probably attack you because they're very threatened.
Well, maybe I'll find the king crab, rip his little crab head off, put it in my mouth, and show a display of dominance to all the other crabs so that they will know that I am the new crab king. And then I will start to communicate with the crabs and they will do my bidding, and I will rise as the greatest supervillain that this country has ever seen. I'll take the beach.
I want to go to the jungle.
What are you going to do in the jungle?
I'm going to...
You're going to become an evil villain?
With a bunch of chimps. A chimp army.
Dude, that would be seriously scary because
chimps are smart.
Yes, most of the time, the chimps and the apes, most of them are very, very well jacked up. They are
gorillas and some gorillas, maybe in panthers, jaguars.
Yeah, one of the podcasters I listen to, I really, really like, he knows a lot about apes and gorillas and chimpanzees, and it's scary stuff.
I've had an ape. I'm gonna have an ape army.
Well, let me know in the comments down below, which of those areas would you like to go? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.